channel. My name is Brittany Bundles, and today's video is going to go over 5 mistakes that I made when I first started running my hair business. If you are interested in more videos like this, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Please make sure that you are subscribed and hit the post notification bell. I do upload multiple times per week, so you don't want to miss any of these uploads. The first mistake that I made is choosing vendors too quickly, okay? When I first started looking for the perfect hair vendor to work with, it was a costly process, and I remember just wanting to find a vendor so fast that I didn't really pay attention to how our communication and relationship would be after I purchased the hair. I was just so interested and eager to get the hair, and when I received my first batch of Good Hair extensions, I'm like, you know what? That's the right vendor. That's my vendor. And although you do want to make sure that you find a vendor with good quality hair, you want to make sure that you find not only a vendor with good quality hair, but consistency. One of the reasons that I created my dropshipping program and offered wholesale options is because of the vetting process for vendors. It's not hard to find a vendor with good quality, okay? But it can be pricey and it can be time consuming. And also, to know what type of relationship you're going to have, you're going to need to work with that vendor more than once. So what I would do is I found a vendor that I thought I was going to use, and I offered so many different textures of hair, and I had a vendor for almost each texture of hair. That was my biggest mistake. I should have found, first off, a vendor that offered the majority of textures and types of products that I wanted to sell and offer, and then also have a backup vendor. I also should have been more open to the testing period that it was going to take for me to see how multiple orders will be with this vendor, not just, okay, I got a good batch of hair. And so when I ordered my first initial order from the vendor that I was working with in the beginning, it was great quality. I had no complaints, but I noticed that their level of communication was not as efficient as I wanted it to be. And so it would cause a lot of delays with our communication that trickled over to the communication and answers that I was able to provide to my clients because I was waiting to get the answers from my vendor. So for example, a customer would ask a question, does your hair come with beards? And I'm like, I don't know. So I would look at some bundles and think that, okay, well, this doesn't look like it has beards. This bundle looks like it has beards. And so I wanted to ask the vendor just directly, hey, are the bundles that I'm ordering, are they coming with beards? Are they not? Couldn't get an answer back quickly. And when I say quickly, I'm talking about 24 to 48 hours. I wouldn't get an answer sometimes for like a week. And then it started being like different questions that I would have as far as how the hair was processed. And I'm like, wow, like they titled this hair virgin hair, but how are they processing the hair? Are they using steam processing? Are they using chemicals? Because if they're using chemicals, it's not virgin hair. And so just asking some of these verifying questions that I thought would just automatically be assumed, because if you're selling virgin hair, by saying it's virgin, it doesn't come with any, chemical processing, supposedly. And so although they would reply back, like I said, to these questions and give me confirmations, which is very important to have when you are looking at starting your hair business. You want to make sure that you have good communication with your vendor. And then it started to be questions, not so much about the hair per se, but about shipping. And what will your vendor do if they ship out a package and you don't get it? Or if shipping is delayed. So I just wanted to make sure that I found a vendor with good communication, a vendor where if I received bundles that weren't up to my standard, would they be open to exchanging? Is it someone that I feel comfortable going into a partnership with? And so it took some time for me to actually find the vendor that I wanted to work with. But during that time, I felt discouraged, and I did stop doing my hair business for a while because I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to send out hair I'm not completely comfortable with. My name's on the line. So every bundle of hair that I've ever sent out, I was able to stamp my name behind it. I was confident in it, but that communication on the back end, that has to be there for me to work with you long term. So that would be my first mistake, not only vetting, only vetting vendors based on the quality of their hair, but not the quality of their service. Okay. So that's the first tip I have. Vet your vendor, not just based on the quality of their hair and their products, but the quality of their service and communication. Second mistake that I made is underpricing my products. Trying to be the cheapest hair vendor around is not going to necessarily keep you in business, because you have to consider your overhead, or you should consider your overhead. And even if you don't have a brick and mortar location, you still have expenses that you want to consider. Branding, you want to consider your website, your business phone, if you're even paying for an app, all of those expenses add up, okay? And sometimes we don't think about all of that. We're just like, okay, well, it's $15 for this app here and $30 for this app and maybe $100 for my website. And I can go on and on about fees, but my point is those fees add up. And then if you're doing it on a monthly basis and take into consideration that you may not have steady orders all the time, especially if you're newer in business. Businesses fluctuate with their income, even if you've been in business for a while. And so one good practice, side note to do is to not just sell hair, but sell something else, preferably a service with your product, because when your products aren't selling as fast, you still want to generate income for your business. So my second mistake was underpricing products. Pricing products is something that a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with because they don't know like what price to price their products at. They don't want to be the highest, but they don't want to be the lowest. And what I could say to that is price based on the value, okay? You don't want to be known for being the cheapest anything because you are going to attract a certain type of clientele that will only want to pay the lowest amount. And so if you're looking at revamping your business in the future, if you're looking at doing something internal, like upgrading your quality, that's going to cost more investment. It may be harder to get more investment from people that are knowing you to be the cheapest, okay? So don't think about being the cheapest, but price based on the value. And always consider what you have to pay out. Don't feel guilty for pricing products at a rate that will afford that you can afford to stay in business, okay? Third mistake was not investing in the best, like not investing as much as I should have in the beginning. I don't recommend just going all out and investing a lot of money when you first start your hair business if you can avoid it. But I will say that I wish that I would have invested in like a different website before getting started, because once I upgraded my website, I saw a tremendous difference in my sales. I was thinking like, okay, I'll just work with this website. And I did. It was a website that I created on GoDaddy. And I didn't see a tremendous influx in my orders and traffic until I upgraded my website to Shopify. So I wish that I would have invested in a better website earlier on. Not to say that you can't get started with GoDaddy, because I'm a big advocate of and believer of, use what you can to get what you want. So use the resources and the website that you have for now. But if I had the choice, if I had to go back and choose, I would have spent less on buying so much hair in bulk and more on my website appearance and the flow of how my website went. Because another reason that some websites see low orders is because it's confusing to figure out how to complete an order on that site. So I would have not spent as much money. I spent over thousands and thousands of dollars in inventory that just sat. If you've been following this channel, you know the story. I had inventory just sitting in my closet that I ended up using and giving to friends over the course of a year or a couple years because I didn't sell it anymore when I took that break. So that would be my third mistake. Not investing in a quality website earlier on. Okay, and then the fourth mistake is not building up my email mailing list. I always knew the importance of having an email mailing list, but I did not always ask for an email, nor did I really drive home the importance of, okay, I need your email. We need to build up this email mailing list so that you'll get exclusive discounts and offers. You'll be entered into raffles. You'll stay updated with new products that we have. So thinking back, I would have built up my email mailing list first out the gate. Even before I launched my website, I would have started getting emails, and I would have had something on my website similar to coming soon into your email address so that you'll be notified when we launch. Something like that, just to start building email or start gaining email addresses. I would also start promoting on my social media the importance of, filling out this form, but the importance of being added to our email mailing list and the perks that people will receive when doing that. But that was another mistake, not building my email mailing list and making that like a priority when I first started. And then the last mistake that I could say that I made is trying to do everything on my own. When you first get started with business, I know this is true for me. It's like your business is your baby. It still is my baby, even years later. But I tend to have this like feeling about my business where I wanted no one to really help. I wanted to do everything on my own. And although you're going to probably start off doing a lot on your own, it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to look at different systems that can help. I just was talking about this in my vlog that I'm recording today, that will probably, be up right before or after this video. But I was talking about AI and how I'm now liking AI, using AI for my business. Before I was like, you know what, I'm not going to use AI. But being open to different tools for your business, being open to collaborating with different people, getting into different groups, being more vocal, communicating with people that are in your niche, all of that, I wish I would have started doing a lot sooner. It would have benefited my business so much. Instead of me being afraid to work with people, instead of me being afraid to get advice, or afraid to be vulnerable, it's okay to open yourself up to assistance and to help and to different resources. So now with my business, I have so many different back end processes and systems set up to make my job so much easier, where I do have the time now to run more businesses besides my hair business. And I wish that I would have, had this thinking process earlier on. But ultimately, I'm glad for everything that I went through. I appreciate, I can say, everything that I went through, everything that I learned, because it gives me a greater insight and I'm able to help other people get started with their hair business. So if you are interested in starting a hair business, I do offer drop shipping still. You can get started with drop shipping for as low as $50. And that gives you a whole quarter of drop shipping. There's no contract. You can cancel at any time, but it gets your foot through the door. I also have an ebook, Drop Shipping Now, Wholesale Later, that outlines how you can start your drop shipping business and grow it to purchasing in bulk, where you get a larger profit. I also offer wholesale. I have so many options to assist new business owners that are wanting to get started in the hair industry. So be sure to reach out, click some of the links down below if you're interested. I do want to thank you all for watching, and I will talk to you all in the next video. Bye.